Wafula is a Paralympian, author, and a motivational speaker who lives in the UK and was born in Kenya. Since last week, she's been on a mission giving back to the community by donating wheelchairs and giving motivational talks. Our reporter compiled this following report for you. Take a look.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Wafula has lived a fast-paced life since the time she was born. At the age of 2 years, she survived a polio attack which left her using crutches to aid her movement.
I was born in western part of Kenya, Webuye, in a very small, tiny village called Mihu. And I was born as a normal, healthy child. And when I was about 2.5 years, I just suddenly got very ill. And I lost the use of my legs, my arms, and the villagers didn't know what it was, so they actually thought it was witchcraft. But after some time, when my father freed the village and we ended up in Nairobi, he took me to the doctors, and that's when they said that I had polio.
Having a child with a disability during those days was a disturbing experience, given that disability was surrounded with a lot of misery, and so Wafula's parents had to bear the brunt of raising a child with a disability in the village.
Okay, I was very young to remember, but I'm told my family was devastated. And even my grandmother, they just could not understand how a very normal, healthy child could suddenly become disabled. To them, they just did not understand what was happening. It just broke their hearts. But my brothers and sisters, they were okay. To me, I was just there. Their sister was different.
Considering that her father was an educated man, he wanted the best for her daughter, and so he ensured that Wafula went to school like everyone else.
When I sit here, I could sort of just say that I'm so grateful because I had a father who loved me unconditionally. My father still loves me unconditionally. And my father was so desperate that I got the education, and to him, he believed that I needed to have equal opportunities with all my other siblings. And that is what my father did. My father never said, oh, and because you are different or you have a disability, you won't do this. In fact, he pushed me harder. And to me, right now, I could say that it's as though he saw in the future. He knew that without the education, I would be nobody. The way your firstborn is not the way your secondborn is. If you are a teacher, you are in a classroom.
While the community was lost into trying to understand her condition, Anne was not bothered, although sometimes she got lost into herself and asked God a lot of questions.
It would be a lie if I said I did not, because I did. There's one time I hated myself. I really resented, I resented who I was. I resented the fact that I could not use my legs. I resented the fact that I was different from everybody else, or most people around me. But it took a lot of time for me to start loving myself, to understand that it was not my fault. And the fact that I am disabled, the fact that I use a wheelchair or I don't use, I've got no use of my legs, it does not disqualify me from having a normal life. And until that happened, then I started to love myself.
Her school life was not a walk in the park, but with no other choice, she had to put up with the rest and make the most out of the skimpy resources available.
In my primary, I went to a school for the physically handicapped, Joyland School for the Disabled in Kisumu, and I finished in standard 7 then. In my secondary school and A-levels, I went to mainstream school, which was really difficult because accessibility was just so terrible. I could not access the toilets, I could not access the bathroom. Some of the classrooms I couldn't access. I never used to go for assembly. And, when such things are happening to you, you just feel so different because you cannot join in and you cannot be part of, of just, any other, like any other person. So I could say that I grew up so differently. I missed out on so many things. I missed out on playtime, I experienced a lot of low self-esteem, and this was because, first of all, I did not understand how, being different, how I was supposed to cope with the community. And now that I've grown up and I'm wiser, I know better now, and I can only sort of say that it is the community around me that disabled me. It's because they did not understand my needs. Therefore, I was not included in the community.
Using her condition as a yardstick, she knew she had to work twice as hard as the others, a belief that made her realize her potential in class and also in sports.
And it didn't matter whether I struggled so hard. I had to work maybe more than 110. I needed to, everything that I did, I needed to give more than 110%, even to be counted with a half or just the quarter of the community. So it is very normal that I experienced that. I experienced, because of I was alienated. When people looked at me, I was different, and to me that was something that I could not cope with. But it gets to a time where you sort of you realize the world does not owe you anything, and you've got one life and you want to enjoy it. And as I say, I am who I am now, a woman with a disability, and I'm proud just the way I am. I love myself, but it took a lot of work. I needed to work on myself, to accept that I am beautiful the way I am. The community will accept me the way I am, but I needed to educate them so that they could accept me.
Her best friend says, while they were still schooling, Anne was passionate about music. However, she had a mind shift and sports became her cup of tea.
Other than her achievements, Anne is a personal friend. I have seen her go from using crutches and calipers just to surprise everybody. Anne was a musician when we were in school. She played the piano. And we formed a group when we met in our A-levels at Kerere High School. We called ourselves Soul Winners. There were 7 of us, and Anne was our lead singer. So while the rest of us, I was hockey captain and table tennis captain, Anne was never interested in sports. But to our surprise now, she's the sports personality.
She is a champion in the Paralympic wheelchair racing.
To me, I think it's the community that tells me that I can do anything. Basically, I can do anything. I can move from here to there, but hey, I'll only move in a different way, because you can walk on your feet, but I'll move using my chair. Just the same as somebody who is visually impaired, they will still read, but in a different way. They'll use braille. Somebody who's hard of hearing, or they can't, they'll still speak. They'll communicate, but maybe they'll use sign language. So I don't think we need to label people just because of how they are. And the community is so quick at judging people just from how they look on the outside. When you see me in the streets because I'm sitting in a wheelchair, you'll automatically dismiss me as somebody being useless in the community. It's until when you get to know me, you get to talk to me, then you understand that I could empower you in one way or another.
Having achieved a lot in life, Anne feels obligated to give back to the society, and so, together with her friends, she took a one-week trip here in Kenya, visiting homes, schools, and donating wheelchairs.
Today is a very special day because I'm in Joytown, School for the Physically Handicapped, the primary school, and I'm just really excited because I've come to donate some wheelchairs. And actually wheelchairs are going to aid the mobility, and I'm just hoping that the students who will be using the wheelchairs will be enabled to move around and give them some kind of independence. And that is what my passion is all about, giving a physically challenged person some form of independence.
It has been really successful. For me, it has been a little bit emotional because I'm an alumni. I studied here since class 1 to class 8, and I feel that people like me, as well as other people who have been here, should always come back and mentor our little children, because it matters. There's a lot of power in mentorship and role modeling. So it has been successful. It has been reflective, and I look forward to coming back again.
Today I'm so grateful because one of our friends, Wafula, has come and donated wheelchairs for our children. We are very grateful to her. We pray her God that He will provide her more, because she's telling it's a personal donation from her own pocket, and she has promised me that she'll give me the blessing wheelchairs because we do participate in games and sports.